authorized to test. So if you don't have a legal authority to test a particular IP or host, don't do it. So today we'll look with test environments will be test php dot vulweb.com, and the second one will be demo dot one second, let me remember, demo dot testfire.net. Okay, so we're going to use these two test environments. They have been developed to be susceptible to certain attacks, so they are intentionally built to be vulnerable for you to test. There are countless number of them, but we'll focus on these two today in this tutorial. So, and what do we want to do? We want to try SQLI, that's SQL Injection and we want to try cross-site scripting. All right, and then we'll look at the then we'll view pre-populated threat model for an organization. The intent of this is to prepare anyone who is going into cybersecurity or who is new to cybersecurity or needs more needs enhancements in certain areas. That is the essence of this instruction or tutorial. So let's dive in. Let's open our browser and we visit each of these test environments and see what they are, how they look, and from there we can look at how we can go about testing them for SQL injection and cross-site scripting. So here is the first site. Let's make a distinction between them. Okay, let's get the second one. Demo.testfire.net. Demo.testfire.net belongs to IBM. While testphp.net belongs to Acronetics. So you see, these are the two sites that will test our skills of injecting SQL into the back end, into the server, to the web server, or doing cross-site scripting. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to look around to have an idea of what the site is all about. And this is home, where we are now. Here, see, my SQL refused. So obviously you have a giveaway here. You know that you're dealing with MySQL. And the website is out of order. Please visit back later. Thank you for understanding. Okay. Then artists. These are the artists, and that means there has to be a table called artists. Then let's see disclaimer. This website is created to demonstrate the ability of Acronetics' new product web vulnerability scanner. It's not intended to be a real online shop. Also, the website was constructed with common web programming errors, so it is buggy. Please do not post any confidential information on this site. Do not give any credit card number or real address, nor email, website, or website address. Information you post on this site are by no means private nor protected. And if you look down, let me try and expand so you can see this clearly. Alright, so let's scroll down. Look at the warning. It says this is not a real shop, just as we have read there. But I will just go down here. So you can use it to test other tools and your manual hacking skills as well. Tip: look for potential SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and cross-site request forgery, and more. So it's intentionally built for you to use as a test site. That's why we're using it in this tutorial. Okay, so you were asked to look for the injection points. You test around to see. So we're starting with SQL injection. Now, what is SQL injection? SQL injection is when the attacker is able to send a SQL code through the client to the server, and the server runs the code. It means the server is susceptible, is vulnerable to SQL injection, meaning that you can inject SQL right from the client side. And that means that the client, which is the browser, anyone using the browser, can modify what's in the back end, in the server, without necessarily being an admin or proper authentication. And this is not good for security of data stored in the server. So, well, the first thing we do is let's go back to home. So we're in index now. So you can try a few things like maybe user and see whether it will give any, or let's start with image, the common ones. Okay, so this also has shown to us the server is Nginx 1.19.0. So you can start from there by searching for the vulnerability associated with that particular version of Nginx and see how you can use that to get to the server or extract data from the server. So let's try if we have an upload. Same thing. Then let's search. Same thing. Okay. This is something. Let's try admin. Still the same thing. Test PHP. Okay, I'm just trying to go back. Okay. Let's index. Let's put admin here. Okay. So here you can see right from the browser we're able to pull admin page. The admin panel or page is not what any user should have access to, except those who have admin privilege. So let's see what's in here. See, that's the main page. So let's go back, admin. Now let's see this one. If you click on it, it may open or it may download. It will do either of the two. So now what it has done is that it has downloaded into the folder. So let me see where it is. It's in the downloads. This is it. So we want to see exactly what's in that file. You see, right from the client page, we are able to pull the file that is on the server. That should not be. That means it is highly susceptible to SQL injection. Okay, so let's go to, let me open another one. Control-Alt-T. Okay, since I know the name of this, creates the SQL. So I can just go back here now. Let me go back here. Okay. And find, let me just say, I know it's in downloads, so just say downloads. Downloads. records. Okay, ls. So I see create.sql there. So I can now say nano create.sql. Okay, so this is what we have in that we've been able to pull from that vulnerable website. This is the script for creating database and tables. So say create database was part. Use was part. Create table if not exist forum. So we're expecting that we have a database called was part, and we have forum as table. We have artists as table, category, which is category, as table, and we have pictures. So right now we have been able to enumerate what should be in the database back end on the server. That type of information should not be available to users. It should only be available to admin when they log in. Okay, but right here now we have it. Okay, so I'll go back. We have seen that. Let's now go ahead and do sign up. Let's test this. So let's do this or 1 equal 1. So with this, trying to say wherever 1 is equal 1, wherever this condition is met, pull or log in into the database for me. Okay, so you can now put anything as password. You can put 123, you can put SJFK, whatever. So I'm just going to put 1234. It says sign up disabled. Please use username test and password test. Well, I'm not using that. I want to test this. Say error. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check manual corresponding to your, okay, at line 1. Okay. 1 second. Obviously, I'm going to look at the let me try this again. This is error. Okay. Equal 1. Oh, this is not. Still the same thing. Okay. Alright, I will kind of leave that one out and move on to, let me see, just space in between. Yeah, still the same. Alright, so now let's do, at least we have been able to pull what's in the back end. Then okay, let me use test. At least let's see what's in there. Test. Test. See, okay, access denied. Doing well. Find me if you can confirm. That's initializing security protocols, analyzing network connections, establishing secure communication. So let's get out of this. This is, so at least we're able to go in using this. And if you see it says sign up, you can sign up here. And let's log out of this. Okay, we're logged out now. And let's do let's test. Okay, I think I have a script on it already. I will show you the script. Let me see. To test for cross-site scripting. Let me copy this. Copy. All right. So this is the script. This Java tiny script will do the trick. That's this. So let's assume that we have placed it in it now because I've tested it. So if you put it in the search bar, it should not, if it is protected, the server should not run it or respond to it, rather than bringing up or maybe sending back error message and blocking such act. But let's see what will happen. You can see that it runs it and it returns a pop-up. Say test PHP does this, and so it runs the script that shows that it's vulnerable to cross-site scripting. So that's about that. Okay, now let's go to the let's do another thing here. Okay, we're already in a, so that's for the slash. Let me remove all this. We see we have artists, right? So let's see what we can do even if we don't have access to going into the database, or we did not see it, maybe the admin did not open up for us. So there's another thing we can do is type artists, okay, .php. So you want to test for artist 1 if there is artist 1, and you can see right here we did not because we did not log in to artist 1, but we're able to access artist 1 page or account. This is it right here, and you can move laterally by changing it to 2, and you can see it changed to the second one, and let's put 3, and you change it to the third one as well. If we put 4, let's see what will happen. See, because there is no user with that ID 4, there are only 3. That's why if you go back here, you see the 3 of them. So, but it should not be possible, if this site is not vulnerable, it should not be possible to access each user's page without proper authentication. That is exactly what we are trying to demonstrate. There has to be proper authentication, but if you are able to get through to any page, any user page without proper authentication, you did not log in and you're able to get into such pages, it means that that site is vulnerable to SQL injection. Okay, so that is that. We've seen cross-site scripting, we've seen SQL injection as well. So now let's go to Arturo Mushua. Arturo Mushua is a site purposely built to emulate a banking website, but it's not a true banking website. It's just built to have that similar functionalities and pages, so that you can test using whatsoever, maybe test for vulnerabilities, so to say. So let's say this is online banking login. Let's start with login. Okay, so here when you log in, you should be able to see your account, but we don't know. We don't have account here. We don't have any business with this pseudo bank, so to say. So, but we want to see what users are there and what they have, and we want to try, especially want to try admin. Let's first start with one, two, three, four, five. Let's try this. Okay, so you can see that with that SQL code, we're able to log in, and we landed in the admin users page. And if you already have admin account in your hand, it means you can do a lot. You can do a lot. So let's say this is account detail. Let's go to account detail, so you can see the account detail. And not only that, you can select accounts, you can modify accounts. These are some of the things you can do. You can see view account summary, view recent transaction, transfer fund. So you can transfer from one account to another. Amount 56432 transfer will successfully transfer from accounts to this. So you can see that it is highly susceptible. And now administration, end users. Let's go to here. The hacker can create another account, can add another account that he will use and grant himself admin privilege to lay hold on to hold the site. And you can see you can add first name, last name, username, create, then add user, admin, savings, account type. So they can create accounts, and that will not be a good thing in a banking site. Search new articles, customize site language. So we have seen that. Now let's go back and try same cross-site scripting. We'll put it in the search bar here, and see if that will work. If it works, then it means it is susceptible to cross-site scripting too. Let me clean this up. This is probably not what I want. Let me just bring this from here. Let's test it on these two. Paste. So let's say go. You see, same demo.testfire.net, and you can see that it runs the scripts. So it's also susceptible to the cross-site scripting vulnerability. So you can sign off here, can do a lot of things, card, run products. So let's leave the site. Now let's move on now to analyzing what we have just done. And you can do further. You can, if you like, you can go into using SQL map to pull the data. Since you know the database name, you know the tables that are there, then it becomes much easier for you now to pull from the database using various tools. But you already have enough data at hand to start whatever you want to do. So let me close this out. Alright, so let me pull up this. Now we're going into threat model. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is to show you how you can report threats, or how you as a cybersecurity analyst can prepare a threat model based on the vulnerabilities you have in your environment. We have examples here. So this, and here, like the one we have just done, you can say web app, and then you can specify the name of the app. Tampering, denial of service, So what would that be in if you're using stride? So obviously we saw information disclosure in let me put information disclosure here. We saw information disclosure in create.sql. So we're able to do that. We're able to get information disclosure. Information disclosure. So app display SQL script showing sensitive DB data. So you can have this. So with that, you decide what this should be. Is that a high or critical or medium in terms of likelihood that vulnerability be taken advantage of? So you decide whether it is high. I will leave it as high, and then the impact will be high if attacker is able to use that to get to the database, even if it's not critical. It depends on the kind of database. If it's database that has to do with highly sensitive information like PII, then obviously that will be critical. So priority, this is high. Then this also will be high. And mitigation, what should be done? Disable detailed error. Sanitize responses. Responses should be sanitized, and the server should not accept or run any query without proper sanitization and so sanitize responses is one of it. So let's leave it at that. And who owns it is dev, and the status is open because that belongs to dev, the creation of database and things like that. So that's just an example. I've just brought this up so that you see how threat model is. You have your ID, the element, threat category, threat description, the exact description. Then you have likelihood, the impact it will make, How high will the impact be? Is it going to be critical, or is it going to be low or high or medium? So, and what's the mitigation you suggest? And who is the owner of that asset? And what's the status of that threat? Is it still open? If it has been mitigated, then it will be closed. Another thing is we have this threat model table. I want to show you this as well. So here you have stride. If you can look at it, look around. This is STRIDE. Okay, so login bypass. Remember we were able to go into it has 1 second, we're able to get into admin accounts, and we're able to get into we're able to extract back-end scripts without proper authentication. So obviously, who will it means that repudiation is very possible. Alright, so let me go back to this while that one loads. Okay, so spoofing, login bypass, SQL injection in artist.this. So if we want to do that, we can try that as well. We have actually used admin, but this could be another option. There are so many options you could use to allow login without credential. So let's try that. Let's go back to the web page for this. So okay. So we see we have the, let me go back again. Here we are. But now let me do this. Paste. And you can see that we're able to go into this. So that's where we decide we can move from one to another. ID equal 1. PHP ID equal artist.php. Okay. Still showing everything there. Okay. We already brought that up before. So let me go back to this. You can see here example in test PHP, and this is example that we use in the Altoro Mutual, which granted us access. So impact is unauthorized access to accounts. Then mitigation should be parameterized queries, strong authentication. That's using stride model. Now tampering, data modification. SQL injection is used to modify form posts. So you can modify the form, and under this we use it to change account balance. We use it to transfer accounts. You can see that transfer fraud could be denied due to weak login because the hacker did not log in, so there is no authentication that could link the detail of the hacker to that action of transferring money from one account to another. So inability to trace malicious action is the impact there. So the mitigation should be what? Enable robust login and monitoring. So that should be login, authentication, and also all the login activities, login events must be logged and reviewed frequently to see if there are activities that violate the security policy of the organization, so that it can be attended to on time. Then we have information disclosure, data leakage, SQL dump user credentials. These are some of the things. So just doing that. Then code injection, inject elevation of privilege. That's cross-site cutting. Code injection, injected into form, comment, steal cookies. It can be used to steal cookies. Now let's see method attack. This is if you're reporting and you're using this model. So you have your attack vector, technique ID, technique name, description, how it applies, and then we have our example in test PHP and Altero. So you can see, let me just do it gradually because I know in the screen it might look blurry if I'm too fast. Or you can just, if you need to see anything, you can just pause it, see it, and then